waterboarding.
They're talking about wakeboarding. The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside.
One side, air railing.
A new dimension.
Everybody is going huge.
What do you think about waterboarding? I said, I like it a lot, but I don't think it's tough enough.
Headphones working?
Headphones are working.
All right.
Firing.
All right, let's do it. Welcome back to another episode of the Grab Matters podcast. Today we got living legend Terry Bailey. How you doing, Terry?
I'm hyped. It's been a long day, but stoked to sit down and finally talk to you.
It has been a long day. For the listeners, it's midnight tonight, and we've been going at it all day. Terry, specifically, kind of keeping the show together here at Yard Sale. So, kind of just want to start with like how you got into wakeboarding. I know you grew up in Tennessee, so yeah, just run me through like the early days of young Terry Bailey getting into wakeboarding.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I'd really like to just talk about, I guess, how I got into, I don't know, who I was before wakeboarding.
Yeah, totally. Definitely down to that.
Instead of really, because I've been wakeboarding for 17 years, and I don't know, really telling the story would take way too long, I feel like. But when I grew up, I was just a normal Tennessee kid, playing football, I don't know, hanging out in the mountains.
I did not know you play football.
For sure.
Yeah.
Played like all the sports, just trying anything, like. But I found skateboarding when I was like 13 or something. So then I was even running track and then bringing my skateboard to track. And while I was having to wait for the other people to do their events, just like skating around off on the side on the concrete and stuff. So I don't know. I just started skateboarding more, and team sports became like irrelevant, I guess.
Okay, but growing up, you did do all the team sports. So you played football,
Soccer,
track, soccer, the whole nine. And none
basketball.
of them. Basketball, okay. Yeah, we were shooting hoops earlier, but not me and you, but we were shooting hoops here.
Perfect.
So none of those like stuck with you, or was it like a competitive thing that you weren't down with, or it was just?
Also, like my parents like took me snow skiing, and I hated it. It was awful.
Really?
Yeah. My uncles, they snow skied, and I don't know, just the feeling of going forward and like my legs splitting apart and poles. Like I lost my pole. My mom was so angry, and I never want to go snow skiing again. The same thing, like we used to go out on the lake camping all the time. So they would always pull us behind the pontoon boat that they had. And I used to kneeboard all the time. And then my dad got some water skis, and he tried to teach me to water ski, but I just hated it. I just wanted to kneeboard.
Same shit as snow skiing. You got two things going in different directions.
Yeah. Even like on the kneeboard, I never wanted to go straight. I would just always like butter slide the kneeboard the whole time.
So did you grow up on a lake, or you guys just like your parents had a boat or whatever?
We started by just having the boat and just trailering it to the lake every day or every weekend, and just like piling all the stuff on the boat, going out. Like our parents' friends had some boats as well. Go to an island, set up camp, rough it for the weekend, and then like go back, put the boat all up, and then go back to school for the week.
Damn, that's pretty awesome. So, was it a wakeboard boat or a ski boat, or just
no?
It's
just a pontoon boat.
Oh shit! Okay, just a pontoon boat.
Yeah, and then we just got like old jet. Like my dad got an old jet ski eventually, but we weren't old enough to drive it, and they were normally partying too hard to drive us on it. So they would just always pull us behind the boat. We never really got to ride jet ski until we were a bit older.
Okay, sweet. So you were kind of doing everything behind the boat. When did you start like actually wakeboarding? On the lake. Was it behind that pontoon boat, or were there like friends that were kind of hanging out and you were?
I had one of my friends. Actually, me and my friend, who was one of the kids that used to go camping with us, we went on eBay and we bought a cassette wake skate because it's like all we could afford with our allowance, and it came in the mail. And I remember like going out, and at that time we could take the jet skis out by ourselves. We got our little license or whatever, and yeah, I don't know. I spent an hour and a half trying to get up on this thing. Like, it was the hardest thing ever. It was like foam grip top, like super flat deck. But then I figured it out, and we just wake skated for that whole summer. Like,
so yeah, you didn't even start wakeboarding first.
No,
you
just started wake skating first.
Sick.
But then someone on the lake had like a wakeboard, and they let us borrow it. And then I was like, dang, you can like ollie so high on the wakeboard. Like, it's pretty fun. So I don't know. I just would go to this kid's house and borrow the wakeboard all the time. And then eventually my mom, for my birthday, bought me a wakeboard and a lesson. And it was like a lesson on a 211. Like, this guy brought this nautique boat, and I went and rode, and I did like I don't know, just like massive hillside wake jumps over and over and over. And then like one of them kind of scooped out. And then he's just like, hey, if you just like really edge into that scoop, you can do a back roll. So then I just did a back roll the first day. And then he said, hey, I have like this opening at my camp. It's actually on this lake. And if you want to come like make sandwiches and clean the boat, then I'll give you like a set in the morning, set in the afternoon. So then I just did that for the past 2 summers. I just like drive my jet ski to this boat camp, and then early morning, like smoke still on the water, and get there, like wipe the boat down and everything, get it uncovered. He would back it in. Then I would like go in, like get all the gas cans, bring them down, fill the boat up, and then he'd bring all the campers out. We go out, and then they would do lessons or whatever the whole time. It was sick because I would just chill in the front of the boat. I didn't have to do anything most of the day. Like, he would do all the coaching. Yeah. And, like, I don't know. I guess I was too young to drive the boat, or didn't trust me or something, so I didn't have to drive the boat or anything.
And just basically spotting for a full boat of people.
Yeah, it was super sick.
Dang. Okay. I was going to ask, so this is on Tennessee. You say you moved onto the lake at some point, or?
Yeah. So my parents got, like, enough money to buy a house in a neighborhood that had, like, a ramp access.
Okay, yeah, lake access. Cool.
Yeah.
And then what lake is this? This is in Tennessee?
This is Boone Lake, Tennessee.
Okay.
And I guess the good riders from this lake would be like Daniel Walden back in the day and J.K. Mullins now.
J.K. is killing it.
Dude,
love
JK's
watching J.K., dude. That is sick. Okay. So you said you did that for 2 seasons, 2 summers, that like kind of camp thing. At the end of that, like 2 years, obviously you're getting pretty good. I'm imagining if you're riding, was it 2 sets a day, like set in the morning, set at night?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any like you kind of getting any attention from any sponsors or anything, or like doing any contests or anything, or is it just kind of purely riding for fun at that point still?
Yeah, there's like a local shop, Performance Ski and Surf, and they are like Ronix only shop or something, and they had like a deal with their rep that they could give a free setup to one rider, and I pretty much got that set up for a couple years until I kind of ruined it because you had to give the board back at the end of the year so they could sell it. But then like the second year I started riding rails and I kind of fucked it up. So whenever I gave it back, like messed up and they couldn't resell it, they wanted me to pay for it. And I just like, at that point I was just like, I don't think I should have to pay for this board. And honestly, like, I don't think that you should be reselling these boards that I ride all year anyway. Like, they're so soft and
yeah, I'm taking 2 sets a day for an entire
but
summer on these boys.
They would be hyped if you snapped them behind the boat because then they just warranty them. But
yeah, not on the rails though. No. So were you riding rails on Boone Lake then? Is that you guys have like a rail park there? Or?
Whenever we like would build rails there, but then also we had like a little local contest and stuff up in Knoxville. They used to have like a winch contest there all the time at Wild Wings Cafe. So then I would go ride them there as well. And It was pretty cool. It was just like 2 Grinch winches, and they put cement in the ground, and they had like a boat rail. It was like a Malibu boat with like a rainbow over it. They had like a kicker and a shitty box.
Perfect. So like when you started riding, rails behind the boat, was that obviously something that interested you more than just hitting the wake? Like, is that something that kind of clicked with you as you started hitting the rails of like, okay, this is the kind of wakeboarding that I'm really like vibing with at the time?
My uncle like lived right by the first Pro Tour stop in Ackworth, so I would go to this first Pro Tour stop all the time. And really, I just started riding rails because they added rails to the Pro Tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't really think about it before you went to like watch the Pro Tour, see the people hitting the rails. You were like, oh, you could do that on a wakeboard. It's something I want to do.
I kind of thought about it, but like I would just ride rails on my snowboard in the winter, and I don't know, it just didn't feel like the foam board kind of sucked on the rails. Like,
yeah, definitely.
I really didn't enjoy riding rails on like wakeboard until they became wood, for sure.
Yeah, with not massive fins in them either. So that definitely helped.
Yeah. You get super locked on those molded fins, though, back in the day.
Oh, I can bet, dude.
Just lean into it, 100 foot, you're good.
You're not going anywhere.
It would have been sick to have some molded fins for that long battleship.
Dude, they should have done it would be sick if you guys did a thing where, like, someone had to ride, like an old school molded fin board, like, on that setup. I mean, Zeb's riding a snowboard, so you can ride anything on it, apparently. So.
For sure.
I don't know when you got like linked up with Gator boards. And I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about, before that, but that's definitely like kind of a highlight that I want to, touch on, and how that relationship started and like that whole zone of your life. So,
I mean, I was just partying super hard at that point.
Yeah.
For sure.
Is that, were you living in Orlando at that time, or like
Yeah,
moved
absolutely.
down there?
I moved down to Orlando in 2009 when I was 19.
Okay. Sweet. So that was like pretty much right after you did that coaching or whatever you called it on that lake, right? Shortly after.
Yeah, shortly after. He moved the camp to Virginia for 2 years. I went out, then I went to that camp for 2 years when it was up in Virginia, the next state up as well.
Okay, cool. So you did that until you moved to Orlando, basically?
Essentially. The whole time through high school, I would just chill on my lake because we didn't have a boat or anything that was worth riding, or like we'd take jet skis out, and then I would just like hit other people that were wake surfing or something. But I lived like an hour and a half from Malibu, Supra, Moomba, Mastercraft, Axis, all their factories.
Yeah,
even though it's only like 3 companies really, but
yeah, you listed a bunch of boats, but same companies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So walk me through moving to Florida. Like, why did you decide to move to Florida?
I moved to Knoxville first because, well, I guess that's what I was saying is like on my boat, on the lake that I grew up on, there's like over 100 wakeboard boats. So like if you know a couple homies, like you can pretty much find a ride. So I just spent my time at the boat ramp of my neighborhood, just like waiting on people to pick me up pretty much.
Sick.
And so I would do that the whole time I was in school. And then as soon as school was out, I would just go start working the summer camp thing.
Okay.
Or wakeboard lessons. It wasn't really summer camp, but yeah.
Yeah, giving people wakeboard lessons and stuff. So you're in Knoxville. How long are you in Knoxville for?
1 semester.
Of college?
Yeah.
What college?
University of Tennessee.
Really?
Go Vols.
I didn't know you were a volunteer there. What did you go to study for, I guess, for that 1 semester?
Computer engineering.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you not like it, or why'd that kind of end?
I don't know, like I really just chose it because it was like a degree that was not many people went after, I guess, so it was pretty easy to get in with it.
Okay.
And I really just wanted to go there because Daniel Waldron from my lake, he lived on the river right across from the college, and he had a 210.
Perfect.
So then we could ride, so it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And also they had a wakeboard team that Mastercraft gave them an X star every year.
Shit.
Yeah. But the wakeboard team was kind of whack because you pay your fees to be in and everything, but you only get 3 falls. So like everyone that sucks, they just ride down the lake forever. And then the people that are good, they just fall 3 times working on their tricks in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help with progression at all.
No.
Oh, man. So did you drop out of college, or just you weren't feeling it?
I went home and I did another semester community college. And then my mom was like, "You really don't like college?" And I was like, "No, I really hate it." So she's like, "Okay, well, if you want to use what money I was paying for your dorm to go to Orlando, then you can go to Orlando." So I found a shitty apartment and went to Orlando, not really knowing many people. But
yeah, did you kind of move down there without like a real plan? It was just like, well, I'm not going to college. I'm going to go down and, were you like chasing a pro wakeboard dream, or you just like, I just want to wakeboard a shit ton and this is where you do it?
Yeah, essentially it was wintertime, I guess, again. I get wakeboarded at home that spring or that summer. And then, I went down there and I just like met this guy on Craigslist. He needed someone to live in his apartment. And it was like on like Lake Nan, which is like a super legendary wake skate lake in Orlando. And moved into the apartment and just started going to OWC all the time. And like, I don't know, man, I was shiesty when I was a kid. Like, I'd buy bands and I'd keep every color band in my car, and then I'd have super glue, and I just like, if I check out the color band, sit in my car for a while. If I had that color band, I just pop it on. And I pretty much knew the operators as well, because like I wasn't bad at wakeboarding. And yeah, they would just see the color band, not even check the time, and I rode Noto for that for quite some time.
I had no idea. Okay, so you're shifting to mostly cable then, like right when you moved down to Orlando, or are you still, just riding cable because you have to know someone to ride boat, and you can just ride cable by yourself, and then you meet people through OW, or? getting a little toasty. Yeah. It's hot down here in Georgia.
But no, I'm still super into boat, like trying to pursue boat. I'm just riding the cable because it's super accessible because I don't know anybody for sure.
Okay, makes sense. And then you're still living in that apartment with Craigslist homie. How long does that last for?
Pretty shortly.
Okay.
Pretty shortly, Austin Hare moves me into a house on Lake Jessamine.
Sick. Okay. So you move into his house in Lake Jessamine.
No, he's just brokering houses to wakeboarders.
Okay. Run me through how you get into boat riding in Florida then. So like
essentially, me and Cody Hess is hanging out with me this whole time as well. He's coming down when he doesn't have school. This kid AJ Rossinelli from back in the day.
Okay, I got some stuff.
He's
on AJ
hanging out with me
here.
as well. But these are like rabbit holes, man. We're gonna be here for way too long.
No. Let's go down. What's it like riding with AJ Rossinelli here?
Like here, or
Not here, just like in general, like back then. What was it like riding with him?
Insane. He had the sickest style. He never
Super good.
fell. Like literally, he would drag out of everything. It was pretty insane.
Damn.
And I don't know, like he like really only cared about wakeboarding. Like he's like kind of like a obsessive person. Like he only takes one thing, and he cares and only thinks about that one thing. And then when wakeboarding wasn't that thing, it was something else. And when snowboarding wasn't that thing, it was something else. And I don't know.
So he kind of moved on from it.
For sure, but I don't know. He definitely left the industry like with a big FU and a middle finger for sure.
How so?
Well, he just called JD Webb out on some, I don't know, stuff on the internet, and he talked some more shit and just pretty much, I don't know. He also just pretty much talked his way out of the industry.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't shut up pretty much.
Dang. But he was a ripper for sure.
Bro, it was pretty insane.
Dang. Okay.
On the rails even more than the boat. It's crazy.
Like on
If you find some of his like rail riding videos, they're like so progressive for back in the day.
like at OW or on Clear Lake or both.
Both, and also I think he has a sick part at Hydrus as well.
Really? Okay. Dang. Did you ever live with him or you just ride with him a lot?
No, we lived together in Clear Lake for a while.
Okay. When did you move into Clear Lake or onto Clear Lake?
I moved on and off a couple times,
Okay.
actually.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
Did you ride a lot of boat on that lake or
No, mostly back when Reeder was building rails, I would build rails on the other side of the lake opposite to him. We'd have like little rail building battles.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Run me through, like what? He would build a rail and you'd try to make it a little bit gnarlier or what?
Not really that, just more like, oh, he's building something and filming on something. Like, I need to build something and film on something. Or more, I think I was actually just hot into it, and he would just keep seeing me build stuff. So then he'd want to get back into building as well because he was kind of getting out of it at the time.
Okay.
And I kind of like brought the hype back to the lake for a little bit, I guess.
Was it mostly you at that time, kind of pushing the rail scene not pushing the rail scene, but you spent a lot of time building rails on Clear Lake. Who was the crew that you were kind of riding with besides AJ?
No, AJ wasn't there at that point. He was gone already.
He was gone already. Okay.
Yeah, when we were living on Clear Lake, we were just trying to ride boat, but mostly riding on Jessamine still because we had more connections on Jessamine.
Okay. Cool. What is the, sorry, I'm trying to find this question. I was talking to Quinn earlier, and talking about places you lived. And did you ever live with Mitch Langfeld?
The Blue Circle?
Yep, the Blue Circle.
I did.
Run me through living at the Blue Circle.
Essentially, the Blue Circle was the sickest place ever. Like, I'd go there all the time, party, chill. And then when I finally had the opportunity to live there, it was not the sickest situation ever. It was some girls that were living there, and Mitch was going back to Australia, and I was like, I really need a place to live, so I'll, use your bank card account to put money in your bank account each month for rent. and I'll stay in your room. But like it was like crazy rent compared to what I was used to paying, like in his big room. And also, I was working downtown bartending at the time, so like I don't know, I just really wasn't making that much money. Like I wasn't even bartending at that time. I was just like washing dishes. So
So you weren't making mad money at all.
bro, I
getting
was
tips.
literally like just making enough to eat. Like once I paid the rent, I couldn't even pay the power bill or the other
Shit.
bill or whatever, and the girls weren't helping out at all. And then right after I moved in, like they just decided to move out. So then it was like all the bills on me.
Yeah.
So
Where
wasn't
is
the best situation.
Where is that house? Or where was that house?
It's on Clear Lake, like 2 canals down from where me and AJ lived.
Okay. Any good stories or any good parties from that house that jump out at you, come to mind?
Pre-me living there, yeah, for sure. Some
Yeah?
super sick parties.
Yeah?
Like especially like whenever they had this In Transit premiere in Florida. This Josh Robinson film. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't think so.
It's an
Might have
Aussie
been before my
wakeboard
time.
film back in the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. We had the premiere and then had like a massive party at Harley's, and it was pretty sick. I'm pretty sure Dan was there too. He's like 13 or something.
Daniel Grant?
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. All the cops came, and like everyone that was underage pretty much had to leave. And then they had all this beer left in the house or whatever. And Mitch was overage. I was overage. We were all overage. Brenton was there as well. And pretty much while they like sent everyone home or had the parents called, we had to sit there the whole time. Took forever. And then just like, they're like, well, you guys are good to go. So it was already like 4 a.m, but we just took all the beers, all the leftover beers, all the fridge, leftover cases, anything, and just took them back to the Blue Circle and drank them, got on the jet skis, and just blasted out to the lake to watch the sunrise.
Sounds sick.
Yeah.
Why was it called the Blue Circle?
Because Mitch had a blue circle carpet that he always liked to sit the bong on.
There you go. Keeping it simple. I like it. Didn't stay up all night thinking of the name for that house.
No.
You mentioned that your Gator days were when you were in Florida. I do want to, I mean, obviously, but I do want to touch on how that relationship started. Like, how does a relationship with Gator start?
Through AJ.
Yeah?
Yeah. He was pretty much riding Gator boards, and my friend Nick Galasafori moved down as well, and we started riding boat with him all the time on Lake Ivanhoe. And Lake Irma, actually. And yeah, me, him, Todd Watson were pretty much supposed to be like the next gen of Gator. They like hyped us up, like was gonna like do all this stuff, and then we all get an email from the team manager girl. I forgot her name, but anyway, she just like, oh well, the company's bankrupt and we're shutting it down, and Gator's kind of over it, so. Hope you guys had a fun year. Like,
Did you ever sign a contract at the beginning?
No, we never got any contracts. We like would go to Naples all the time and party with him, and then like go to the warehouse there and just get like bags. And actually, my winch bag full of tools in Europe is a Gator belt boards bag.
So it holds up pretty well, at least.
Hey, pretty quality stuff.
So like team trips and
And it was like the same time that they sponsored Daniel too. Like they sponsored him for 1 year with like the same wood flex boards that they started making, and then like I said, Gator was over it after that.
Rip. So after that, I mean, what age would you say you were when you were riding for Gator for that short period of time, and then it kind of ended?
2011 to 2012.
Okay.
So 21 to
10 years
22
ago.
probably.
Okay. What happens next after that? Are you like kind of searching for a board sponsor, or are you still kind of working in Orlando, riding a ton and just basically having fun with it? Or
right after that, Humanoid came out, and I messaged them, and then they just started flowing me boards.
Okay, sick. So, I mean, I guess I didn't know you were on Humanoid for a period of time there. Did you ever like sign a contract with them, or was that ever like an official deal, or was it like just getting boards and then maybe taking team trips here and there, or what's that look like?
Yeah, I would like meet up when the guys were in Florida, go out to the bars, maybe go ride the projects or something.
Yeah.
But no, I never signed any contract, just flowed boards. I feel like that even the people that did sign contracts with him didn't get paid, so I wasn't too worried about it anyway.
At least you weren't disappointed with.
Chris O was always bitching, so
Didn't get paid? Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, true. I mean, at least they're slinging, NFTs now or whatever.
Interesting move. Very interesting move.
Let's I mean, is there anything else you want to touch on in that part of your life? Because I definitely don't know a whole lot about like pre-Valdosta Terry. So
Yeah, it's not like
nothing crazy.
no, not really.
Okay.
It's just me really like partying nonstop, pretty much. When I was a kid, also that's like kind of why I picked wakeboarding over snowboarding, because it was just like more of a party sport. Like I grew up like pro tour flotillas, like 100 boats long, like riding with my friends and like do a tantrum and girls take their tops off. Like, I don't know, like, and I would just like, I don't know, the snowboard culture was sick, but it just like, I mean, having some beers after riding or having a couple beers on the hill was cool, but like, we would just have chests of beers and stuff in the wakeboard boats, and it was just so much nicer, like not partying in your jackets and your boots.
Warm weather, yeah, helps a lot with partying.
But I love the freedom aspect of snowboarding. I hate the handle.
Terry hates the handle. Heard it here first. Does make tricks a lot easier though, Terry. That's for sure.
And safer too. You can pull yourself away from the rail. The snowboard, you slide out like that. Rail's like a fucking magnet, bro.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah, let's talk about moving to Valdosta. So before you were at Valdosta, you were at Cross's place, right? The Beardens. Run me through, I guess.
I would just so after this summer camp thing, I wouldn't really spend all my time in Orlando just because, I don't know, I really like to travel. Like even when I was in Orlando, then I was still doing Pro Tour. So we'd still travel every summer to different Pro Tour stops. So, yeah, I don't know. I was just super into traveling. So I hit up, I'd been to Gravity a couple times because they had the only transfer box that was made just like the Pro Tour. So everyone would want to hit this guy up and give him money or go, like, I would always go work out there, like mow grass or whatever. And then they'd pull on the jet ski, and then you could hit the transfer box that you would pay every time to only get to hit 3 times a week or 3 times a weekend pretty much, if you don't make it through. So
Okay, so you were still traveling.
Anyway, so I'd known Wes, I guess. And so I hit him up, and he's like, yo, I got this plastic welder. We're thinking about, like, trying to make features. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm down to come help you summer. I don't really know anything about it. And, like, yeah, at first they, like, didn't let me touch anything. I was just, like, driving across when you get out of school and stuff, and Cody as well, his friend. And, yeah, then eventually, like, they let me start welding. And then, yeah, they had that, Stacy, he's, like, this super OG guy from back where Cross lives. He would come help, and also Cross's dad, Wes. And, yeah, then eventually while they would go to work, they would kind of set me up cuts and stuff that I could make. And when they get back, or then I'd like weld up different, like, smaller pieces while they were gone. So that was really cool to learn plastic welding there. And then also I would like coach Cross and Cody and then pull them on their 2.0, which they had installed, I think, the summer before or something.
Okay, so this is
you
all
didn't
on
have to run the jet skis
all
anymore.
on their 2 tower is where you're kind of messing around with all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, I guess, like the summer after they got it.
Okay. And were you working like anywhere in town there, or how were you kind of supporting yourself then?
No, they were just supporting me pretty much.
Cool. Sweet. And what leads to leaving, Cross's place and going to Valdosta and like that relationship with Quinn?
I used to so I would do that during the summer, and then Cross would pretty much we'd ride all summer long. But then whenever you start going back to school, I'd stay for a little bit. But then it'd get cold and more colder, and yeah, it's just not worth it anymore. So then I'd go to Florida and ride. And I think I did that for 2 years, and then 1 year I decided that instead of going back to Florida, I think it was after the Blue Circle year, I hit Quinn up, and I was like, hey man, I'd like to come hang out at your guys' 2 tower and help you guys out instead. And they had borrowed the plastic welder from Wes, or actually I think he gave them the old one and bought him a new one. So it was the same plastic welder I just used, and we started welding up like little double-sided kickers and boxes and just different stuff for their 2.0.
Okay. I guess I've never used a plastic welder. Like, what's the process of learning how to plastic weld?
Patience.
Patience.
Yeah. Lots of patience.
Okay.
And I guess also like being able to hold your hands in like a steady angle. Like if you have shaky hands, I guess it'd be a real issue.
It's not for you.
No.
Okay.
You want steady hands and a lot of patience for sure.
So how'd you meet Quinn for the first time?
Either riding ODub or like at a Wake the Line qualifier or something like this.
At Wake the Line, did you pop your shoulder out?
Yeah, that sucked.
Run me through that.
I don't know. I rode the quarter pipe quite a bit at the projects, and then maybe I had a bit too much confidence on it. The backside disaster, slid out. My shoulders are already pretty weak from boat riding. I think that was like my first shoulder surgery on my right shoulder, but I already had 2 on my left or something by then. But yeah, I don't know. I was so over it. Like I couldn't believe that it popped out. Like, but I landed right on it. Like
On the QP?
Yeah, and it was like whenever I locked in disaster, it really slid out. So it had like quite a bit of force as well as I slid down the quarter pipe, and I just felt it like go out instantly.
Oh.
But I was like so over it and so over like this is actually great. This story keeps going.
Keep it running.
I was so over it. I just went over to Brent and I was like, dude, just put my arm in. I'm like so done going to the hospital. It cost my mom so much money because like luckily I'm still on her insurance at this time. Fucking insurance, man. But anyway.
We'll get into that a little bit later.
Anyway, so he's just like jerking on my arm, like puts his foot on my chest, is just like in the water with me, just like jerking on my arm. Like, I don't know, it doesn't work. But also, like, the more you dislocate your shoulder, like, the harder it is to get it back in the joint. So even the people at the hospital were having troubles. Like, they were having to put me to sleep so my muscles would relax so they could actually even pop it back in.
Well, yeah, I feel like the more you pop it out, the easier it is to pop it out, right?
But the harder to put
it
back in.
The harder it is to put it back in. And the longer you wait after it comes out, does it get harder to get put back in after that because it starts getting inflamed, or?
In my experience, yes.
Okay.
Even though one time I like really didn't want to go to the hospital, and I went to this massage guy and he massaged it back in. It took him like 15 minutes and it was like one of the most painful things in my life, but he did it for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Was he like known for that? How'd you find a massage guy to get your?
He's actually like the best massage guy I've ever. He lives on Clear Lake. He's like a famous wakeboard massage guy. Like everybody used to go to him back in the day.
Really?
But yeah, I just went there and I was like, yo, can you just get my shoulder back in? He's like, yeah, $80. I was like, that's cheap, man.
It's a lot cheaper than going to the hospital.
I'm on my way right now.
15 minutes later, you got your shoulder back in. So you were just super over it. It sounded like at Wake the Line, you popped your shoulder out. Did you say Quinn was there and that's how you kind of met Quinn, or?
I guess that's how we reconnected maybe, or
okay.
I don't know, like how we got more in touch. And then he's like, yeah, I'm putting these 2 tower cables up there. And then I guess that's how I knew to like message him. And also
Bush Light, baby.
Yep. Beer volcano. But he was also good friends with Wes, so I already had that connection as well. So he was like, you should go down to Valdosta and see if they need any help. And I think I went down there and helped them for like a couple weeks or something. And then I went back to Florida for a bit and then came back up or something. I don't know.
Quinn mentioned that you were living on their couch in Valdosta. So was that like right at the beginning when you moved there, or were you kind of bopping around for a little bit?
When I first got to Valdosta, me, Haney, and these other 2 homies lived in a trailer out in the middle of like Clyattville. Like you just
not at the compound.
No, you keep going that road and like go pretty far out there, in like dirt road style. But it was one of our homies, like dad's old trailers, and they had just quit paying rent, and they were just waiting to see how long it took for the bank to kick them out. So we lived there until the bank kicked us out. So then I came into Valdosta, and then that's when I was like, yeah, man, like, I guess I'm going home. Like,
I don't have anywhere
nothing
to live.
else. And like, hey, man, well, you can stay on the couch here. We like really appreciate all the work you're doing here. So I just kept sleeping on the couch. Every morning, Cal would just come jump on the couch and lick my face.
Wake you up.
We'd start the day.
What's it like when the bank comes and like repos a place you're living in?
It was just a letter.
Oh, was it?
We didn't like wait longer than the letter. It just said, this is a date. And once we got the letter, we just all moved out by the letter.
Peaced out. Makes sense. So then you start living on, who's in that house, that couch you're living on? Quinn, Luke, a couple other guys, or?
No, this is like the couch at the
at the
pro
shop.
shop.
At the shop.
Yeah. That's
Shit,
why
okay.
like when Luke rolls up and like opens the door, his dog just runs in the door and licks me on the face.
Yeah, it's time to start the day.
Yeah. I used to like roll up and like, I don't know, turn on like music videos of like shitty top 40 music. I don't know. I hate top 40, but just like there was nothing else on, like, and I don't know, that's just what I would turn on every morning. We just listen to the worst top 40 songs. I guess it'd also help us like get out of the shop quick and go out to the cable and
I
work
just
on
want to get away
stuff
from
as
this
well.
shitty music.
It's like when like No Flex Zone and shit was out.
No flex.
Zone. Yeah, this one for sure.
What was your role there? I mean, like, what were you doing, like, work-wise at the compound in those early days?
Operating and like checking features for screws and pretty much building features with what little budget we could scrape together whenever we could.
On the two towers, or was this
on the 2 tower?
Did you help build the full size?
Yeah,
Were you there for that whole process?
I think I went back to Florida for a bit. No, I guess like once I was on the couch there, and from there, then that's when Quinn had the bank on board. Quinn and Luke had the bank on board, and they got their business plan rolling. And I would sleep on the couch and wake up in the morning, and we'd drive all the way to the back where the Cowarts, who live across the street, and fix the road for the contest and everything, mowed the grass. But they were just digging this massive hole back there. And my first big job was to grow the grass so all the banks wouldn't like slide out. So as they would dig a section, I would just be behind them, just throwing out grass seed, and like we'd run the trucks, cover it with straw. And just the biggest thing was like erosion control, I guess, while they were digging. And then also like we laid all the pipes to drain the ponds as well.
Okay. So are you getting paid by Quinn, or not Quinn, but like Valdosta at that point, the company is like, are you an employee of them, or like, how's that kind of work?
Yep. I think we had 3 employees, me, Quinn, and Luke.
Okay.
For sure.
Sweet. So that's like a job, like an actual job that you're working there. When do they start building the full size, and what's your, role in helping, build it?
Essentially, like I said, I was helped grow. We were just growing grass, and then we had a guy that was building the pro shop, and then we were supposed to build the dock. And we had some issues building the dock. We had some issues with the electrical, and just had like quite a few issues that pushed the project back quite a bit. But no, I'd pretty much just like go around with Quinn. I was just pretty much his like right-hand man, but Luke was out there just as much as well. Like it was us 3 pretty much. Like we were also, my job was to help them move all the features from the 2 towers, and then move the towers as well.
Okay. Had you ever had any experience, building or maintaining cables before that?
Just at Wes's house.
Okay, just that 2 towers or back and forth system, whatever. I would like to kind of move into, your riding a little bit more and filming and stuff. Was there anything you had written down there with like the early days of Valdosta you kind of want to touch on there?
No, I
Not
guess
much.
I just bought a container from the same people that dug the lake across the street. And then I just moved into the container with like nothing, just a bed inside the container. And then just slowly like framed it out,
Made it a home.
put electrical in it, insulation. One of my friend's dad was remodeling a house from the 80s and gave me all this wood paneling, reclaimed wood paneling out of it. So I put up wood paneling from the 80s. Looks pretty.
It's pretty sick, dude. Is that the same one that's still there on the two tower?
The same one. Okay, for sure.
I love it. Let's kind of start talking about filming the coalition videos and getting linked up with Wes after everything's kind of set up on the two tower there.
Yeah, so that same winter that we got set up, there really wasn't many people coming out. Valdosta really, I don't know, they don't really like to get in the water during the winter, these people, or the locals.
Who
anyway.
are these people?
These locals. These locals think it's cold here, but Europeans come here and love it. But where were we at again?
Just talking about the two tower that first winter.
Yeah. Sorry. So this first winter, Quinn goes to the Philippines, and I think there's a couple times where Luke has to go do something, and I'm literally running the cable, wake up, do the maintenance. The only guy there, people show up, I run into the shop, sell them a wristband, run back out to the operator stand. Luckily, probably only 7 to 12 people showed up that day, or I think I did it for 2 straight days at one point. But yeah, just running the cable park all by yourself is pretty crazy. Also, in the early days when it was just me living out there, I used to love to turn the cable park on early before anyone showed up and just ghost ride the whip.
Take some butter laps.
Really, really just be the only person on the property. Pretty solo shred action for sure.
So at that point, what board are you riding then? Were you riding Prospect back then, or was it a board before that you were riding?
No. I think Prospect doesn't happen till a year or two after I've been at VWC.
Okay.
At this point, I have the Byerly boards. I've known Byerly for a while, and he was just giving me old last year's boards or whatever that he had in his shed. So I was just rocking Byerly boards, and this is also when I put the snowboard bindings on the fast tracks.
Yeah.
And rode the snowboard boots and the snowboard bindings for a bit.
How'd that go?
It was amazing.
Was it?
Yeah. The snowboard boots are so sick. You can blast so high, and you never get heel bruises or anything.
I bet. Actually, a lot of cushion there.
So much.
A lot of
cushion.
support too.
But pretty heavy.
Very heavy, especially when they get wet. Saw that today with Zeb. So yeah, I mean,
I guess Quinn really starts hanging out with Wes while he's gone in the Philippines, and then so when they come back, still working with Quinn, but then I think Wes I don't know where he was supposed to go that summer, but he was stopped through Valdosta on wherever he was supposed to go that summer, and then just never left.
Yeah. Sick. So,
and then that's kind of when the film series started, and we're kind of brainstorming names. It's yo, we got to put this park on the map. We need people to come here. It's in the middle of nowhere, but at least it's on a highway. So at least you drive to the middle of nowhere, but at least you get to go 70 miles an hour out here, I guess. But the idea was to just create a film series that would make people want to travel to Valdosta, Georgia.
I would say it worked for sure.
Nice.
I mean, is it pretty mind blowing at the beginning of that? Those, especially on the two tower, obviously the full size has an amazing setup, but the ease of being able to change the rail layouts on the two tower, was that a pretty mind blowing time? After coming from Clear Lake and all these other places to be on that two tower and live in the camper right there and be able to build and change rails, kind of as you guys wanted.
Oh yeah, posting rails sucks. In water.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not so bad in Florida because you can just blast, but here's not so good because you blast the sand and then you get to clay pretty quick. But that's also why the ponds hold without liner, is because the people, they found a clay vein, and then after they dug the whole lakes, then they took the clay vein and they lined the lakes with clay.
Didn't know that. Yeah, I was wondering earlier if there were you can obviously see they don't have liners, but yeah, so it's the clay base that keeps the water in.
Exactly.
Did you guys have any struggles or issues with keeping the water levels even at each pond or whatever? Is there any, kind of hurdles you ran into there?
No, these guys did a really good job digging these ponds.
Did they?
The mountain's pretty crazy as well, huh?
Yeah, it is, dude. For those who don't know, there's like a mountain basically in the back left corner, whatever you call it, of Valdosta. Let's talk about the Coalition Volume 2. What would you say was your, actually, I want to know about the palm tree spot. So there's a spot in that movie that you hit, and it's like an island in the middle of a lake, and it has this, where the fuck is that?
It's in Argentina. It was the first spot I hit in Argentina.
Really?
It's actually at a cable park in Argentina.
Oh.
2 Tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
We just showed up at the 2 Tower, and we had this old Argentinian gas winch, but anyway, we'd like finally got the winch, and we showed up to the 2 Tower, and everyone was like hyped to go ride cable, and I was just like not hyped to ride cable at all, and Huber wasn't really hyped to ride cable at all, and we just saw this thing, and then they had a boat, and I just asked if we could use the boat. We just drove out to this thing, and we're like, okay, I'm pretty sure that we can butter this thing up
pretty
quickly.
I mean, it looks perfect.
Pretty perfect, and then I'm pretty sure that we can just pull the rope out with this boat. We can get some hits here pretty quick. So pretty much we set it up, like rolled the line out, and like I pulled him once, he pulled me once, and we're like, okay, it works. We can get clips. So we waited for everyone else to get the session done, brought the cameras over, and yeah, me and him hit it, and it was pretty dope little session.
It was very, very dope spot, and just like a textbook perfect hit on that. I feel like bonking that palm tree.
I felt like it was a decent lander for how steep the concrete was.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it looks perfect, but definitely a good lander. What was your favorite trip from filming for that movie? Was it that Argentina trip, or was there anything in the States that you really liked?
Yeah, I don't know. For that second one, like literally me and Quinn like checked every spot in Georgia.
Yeah.
Like we know all the spots in the state of Georgia now.
Okay.
So I guess just like learning the whole state with him,
Mapping
like especially like checking spots like late at night. Like Quinn's like a car camper as well, like me. Like we love to like sleep under bridges and stuff. So
that's what you guys would do. You just take the car and climb the seats back and call it a night?
Bro, for sure. That's how we went for so long.
No way.
Yeah.
Could not sleep like that.
dude, Quinn lays his seat back, and he can't sleep without fans, and he's got these little battery-powered fans. He puts these 2 tiny little fans right beside his head and just...
I'm on the same wave with the can't sleep without fans. Back 3 down the waterfall. How many tries did that take? Because that was fucking money. The big waterfall, no idea where that was. But
Barra Leche, it's in Patagonia, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. What brought you there?
So when we were in Argentina, like spots are few and far between. So we pretty much like had to hit a spot, drive 6 hours, hit another spot, drive 3 hours, hit another spot. But luckily the spots we were hitting, you could hit like 4 or 5 different ways. And like,
yeah, I mean that one playground place in
exactly.
the water was like you get that a million different ways. But anyways,
so at least the spots we were finding were epic spots, but they were so far between. So at one point we decided to just drive all the way south because Poncho, his parents have a house in the mountains of Barleche, and it's like super beautiful and all this. And so we drove down there, and pretty much all the Argentinians wanted to do was party. So at some point they all went partying, and me and Quinn wanted to go to this next town over. I guess they have this like market where they sell like all these crazy fossils and crystals and stuff they find in the mountains. So we went to this market, and on the way back we found this waterfall. We came back, and then everyone was like still so hungover from partying and all this. I'm like, yo, look, I'm here to winch. Like, we spent so much money to get here, and like,
we're trying to get some clips.
For sure, we rented a car. Like, let's do this. So Quinn and Ollie Brumlin were down. So
that's a 3-man crew. You're good to go.
3-man crew. I think think we might have talked one of the Argentinians into going with us as well. But anyway, so we drive out to this, right back to this spot, and set up the winch, set up the pulley, and it's like pretty slick walkout because I don't know, the winch rope would only go so far, so I kind of had to like walk pretty close to where the water was coming down. It was like pretty slick, but I think I got it on the 6th or 7th try. I really wanted back 180.
Yeah.
Or I guess I landed it first try.
Back one?
Like, no, just the gap.
Oh, straight.
And then I started going for back one. I think I tried back one like 2 or 3 times. There was like a motorcycle like gang that like stopped on the bridge where the pulley was. And then like, I don't know, like I just wanted to land it for them since they all stopped. So then I just did like another stalefish down it. They like all rev their engines like, and then like drove off. And then I got back up there, and then I was like, all right, like, everyone, like, got these homies out here. Like, I'm not just going to sit here and, like, wear myself out because, like, I don't know if you've done many big drops, like, but your knees get pretty jello pretty quick. So.
Yeah, it's not something you're going to session for.
Exactly.
Day,
so you got to get what you can and then come back the next day or whenever you can stretch it out. But, so, yeah, then I went for the back 3 first time and came around, but then just kind of, like, sketched out the landing. And then the second one, I tried to grab Indy, but just gave her a little tickle. And then it came around, and I was able to pull out what I considered a landing.
I definitely considered a landing.
And
your butt did not hit the water.
It did not, and I stopped on the rocks pretty good. Quinn did an amazing job driving this one as well.
Yeah, it looked like a real short run out, like after the waterfall there. Definitely a tight spot.
Absolutely. There was a sick, like, corrugated, like man-sized corrugated going out where the bridge was because it was actually concrete all the way down, then a couple man-sized corrugateds. And Ollie Brumlin actually wanted to try and do like toe side back roll, like wall ride, just like no kicker, just like edge into the corrugated as it goes out the other side and like toe side back roll. But as we were setting it up for his hit, after I got that hit, then the old 5-0, but it wasn't really 5-0. It was like Forest Ranger or something. And he was just like, none of us spoke Spanish, and he didn't speak any English. And we just pretty much got like, this is not cool.
Yeah, illegal. Leave.
Yeah, pretty much. So we decided to go back to Poncho's villa and chill with all the boys and check out the clips.
It's a good clip. It's great. It's a great clip, actually. That's a tall waterfall. Did you guys kind of try and measure that at all?
I wish we did, but we didn't have any time.
I'm
I'm kind of a measuring guy, but I did not have the chance to do that at that spot.
She was a tall one for sure. I do want to talk about, if you want to talk about the injury you had on the down fence. Where was that?
Jacksonville.
It was in Florida. Okay. Yeah, let's if you want to, I'd definitely love to run through that, the whole process of that day, getting the 50 and then going for the back one there. So,
yep. Essentially, it's just the tale as old as time, the one more, Can't fucking say it.
Did you say it?
For sure.
Terry, come on.
Let me set this up, okay?
Set it up.
So, all day we're winching. All day I forget to eat. Classic Terry. So, we finally get to this spot at the end of the day. I think it's like our second or third spot. But I think it's our second spot, but we had like 3 people ride at the spot before or something. And it takes a while to set up. We have to like grind some of the fence down, cut some bushes and stuff down. And anyway, yeah, I just set the dry pull up, little backside dry pull to serrated fence fitty, little bonk at the end. And yeah, I think it takes me like 5 or 6 tries to get it. I keep trying, like, after I get it, then I try like 2 or 3 back 180. But bro, my stomach is like, hates me.
Churning, yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's nothing in it. It's done. I'm done. We're all done. So I pretty much just like, yep, it's over. And Quinn's like, oh, yeah, maybe I try and like hit it switch toe side. I'm like, yeah, go for it. Go back to the car, like change clothes, get dried, whatever. Then come back out, and Quinn's like, yeah, man, like, I've decided I'm not going to do it. You should try, like, you should go for your trick again. Like, you're getting so close. I'm like, all right, I got dry clothes on. Maybe I go for it, I land it, I ride away, I still have dry clothes on. If I don't, I fall in the water, I have wet clothes, I change into this next pair of dry clothes. It's like, all right, one more. I'll just try one. I'm either going to ride away dry, or I'm going to change into these clothes again. And yeah, the only thing I remember is like putting my arm up for Quinn to start the winch, or like to engage the winch. I guess it was already started, but
And it goes black after that. That's all you remember.
Yeah. And then I wake up in his car on the way to the hospital.
Shit. So did you get knocked out there, or?
I think my subconscious was still doing stuff, but my conscious was not there at all.
Okay. But you didn't like black out, like
No.
concussion in the water.
I'm blacked out. Like literally,
You did.
I remember putting my arm up, and then I remember like remembering my whole life in Quinn's Suburban on the way to the hospital, and then just like feeling my face and like feeling all my teeth were gone, and like clearly there was something wrong. And then I like look over at him, and I was just like, bro, what happened? He's like, I'm just so glad that you're speaking normal right now. He's like, we just like, you've been screaming and like saying the craziest shit for like the whole time. Like, I don't remember anything, but like apparently when I hit the water, like I was just like screaming, help me, and like swimming. And like even once they got me on the land, I was like, help me, help me, help me. And like, I don't know, just like rolling around. And yeah, they got my board off and then got me in the car, and I was just still like screaming over and over. And then, like I said, like I remember coming to in the car, and then that's when I quit screaming. It was just like, yo, what the fuck just happened?
What is going on? So, yeah, I guess like officially or whatever, what happened? You 50, come off early?
Yeah, so I pretty much 50, come off early, got these super bad shoulders, so I like always like pull them in, give myself a hug right before a fall, make sure they like kind of stay in place. Rather break the ribs than pop the shoulders out. But in the video, you can kind of see me like pull my shoulders in, and then as I kind of look to the water where I'm going to land, the post hits me straight in the face, in the left side of the face.
Oh my God. Yeah, I've actually never watched it. I always look away.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like, I don't even really want to go through like how I had to get to the hospital and everything, but it was a nightmare. And all the homies, Wes Huber, Quinn, Poncho, everyone, Cole, all you boys, like, thank you so much for that whole experience. But my mom got me saving me from that whole experience.
Being the guys that they needed to be.
Because I don't know how well my subconscious could have swam without them, but
yeah,
I like to think that maybe it could have made it to shore, but maybe not.
Yeah, thank God that you had a solid crew with you.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely like winching alone's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it's really stupid. You should have a very solid squad if you ever do it.
For sure.
You need to have people that'll have your life, or have your back for sure.
But anyway, my mom got like the best surgeon that she could find in Tennessee. So I went and met with him, or realistically, I went to the hospital that he was working at, and he saw me and said that he thought he could fix me up. And I went to surgery the next day, but this is like 4 days after it happened.
So you don't have to go into super detail about what happened, but the post hit in the face knocked all your teeth out. Like anything else that happened?
Yeah, it like split the top of the roof of my mouth in half, like cracked the roof of my mouth in half, and then the left side of my jaw it completely like, at least like normally when you like dislocate your jaw, I guess it's like just needs to be sewn back up. Okay. But it wasn't my jaw that was dislocated. It was my whole skull that was fractured, and my whole fractured skull fell down. So I didn't actually have to have my jaw wired shut. I just needed 5 plates and 22 screws to like rebuild my facial structure to bring my face back up.
Okay. Wow.
Because it was kind of like my right teeth were touching, but my left teeth were open.
Just out. Okay. And you said it was 4 days after you got surgery. 4 days after it happened. Okay. Are you like getting pain meds, obviously, and at that point to try and manage the pain?
Yeah, they gave me pain meds when we went to Jacksonville. I went there to like see if my brain was okay and everything.
Was the brain good?
Brain was all good.
Okay.
And then they said, yeah, you need facial surgery. And then that's when I was
So you
like,
talk to your mom, and
she's like, yeah, you should try and get to Valdosta and then try and get to Tennessee.
okay. Wow. I mean, they did a really good job.
So this is
Can't
where
tell.
it comes in. My doctor, I wish I could remember his name, but he also did the facial surgery for Courtney Love, Kurt Cobain's wife, when she was in a car wreck.
Really?
And he had also, his stepson had also been in an ATV wreck and crushed his face way worse than mine, and he had already rebuilt his face as well, which is another reason why he felt confident in rebuilding mine. So,
Wow. Interesting. So you definitely got the guy, though, for it.
I did. The only issue is I was now 26 years old, and I was almost 1 year anniversary of being kicked off my parents' insurance.
Okay, so let's talk about that. You didn't have any health insurance at the time, correct?
Zero.
Okay, so what's that bill?
It was pretty nice because like I was able to like talk to the hospitals, and a lot of the hospitals do charity care, so like they can just write it off on their taxes if you do like a ton of paperwork, and also that prove that you like work at a wake park and have no money.
Yeah, that you're a wakeboarder. And yeah.
So I think like I just owed this guy 40 grand pretty much, but he really normally charges like 60 to 100.
Okay.
So he was already helping me out at 40,000.
Yeah. Still a lot of money, but definitely a big help.
Yeah.
Dropping it down. Yeah. So are you just, when it's all said and done, it's like 40 basically, or around there is what you owe?
I think it was like 37 something.
Okay. And
But I feel like then there was like the x-ray people, like all the x-ray and like any of the drugs you get and stuff like that.
all the
That's
hospital
not,
bills and stuff.
yeah, that's not part of the charity care. That's just like your room and board, I guess. That's part of that. So it was like, I don't know. I don't really know how much, but I owed this guy 37 and almost 40 or something.
Okay. So how do you start paying that off? I mean, I know you get a job on an oil rig, basically.
I actually went to Pennsylvania and Ohio and just fracked that up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Immediately after that, were you like, I'm just going to get like the highest paying job that I can think of? To
Yeah,
make the most
essentially I
money?
was just like sitting at home rehabbing, and my dad was just like, I heard this ad on this radio, like, just like fracking's going crazy, like natural gas is popular. No one's wrote any laws. Like New York won't let you do it, but
Kinda
they're
like
just
Wild West.
New York won't let, like, New York has laws already, but they're just on like the Pennsylvania border. Like they can dig vertical or horizontal as well as vertical. So they'll just dig down a bit and then just dig horizontal straight into New York. So then they can just pump out into Pennsylvania.
Okay. And that's a super high paying gig for just kind of showing up and working on that.
Yeah, you can make $100 grand a year with a neck tattoo for sure.
With a neck tattoo?
Yeah.
Was that a requirement?
No, just like those are the kind of people that are out there.
Okay. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Just like I've never heard like the most dirtiest, raunchiest jokes ever, like in a van, like on the way to work ever. Just like nonstop shit talk on the radio.
Yeah.
Pretty much like the closest thing that you can get to like fraternity or military style pecking order, I guess.
Okay.
You got to wear a green hat for the first 6 months, like just so they know like you could be a danger to people.
Because you're not experienced at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
You knew
yeah.
it.
So you're just like the green hat.
Watch out for that guy over there.
Watch out for that guy or fuck with that guy.
Both. So how long did you work that gig for?
6 months.
So you didn't even get to take the green hat off.
I actually quit like right as I was getting to take my green hat off. I was actually thinking about staying in longer and making more money.
Yeah.
But the coalition premiere was, I think, like a month later or something. And I was just like, you're 2 weeks on, 1 week off. But then also you could just like work your week off if you wanted. And that's what I was doing. But some weeks I would go wakeboard my week off. And it just wasn't going to work out. Like I already counted the weeks. So I was just like, as soon as I got it, then I'm just going to be over it.
Okay. What's the pay like for that? If you're doing the thing where you work, that schedule you were just saying.
Yeah, it resets every year or every week on overtime, but you're pretty much doing 16-hour days every day. Like you go back to the hotel, you sleep for 7 hours, you wake right back up, get back in the van, go back out and do it.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know, I was making like $2,000 a week.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of work.
And then also I would get my per diem, which is like $50 to $60 a day just for food.
Tax-free money.
Tax-free money, and I would just save all that, just making peanut butter and sandwiches, and everyone would go out to eat, and I'd just like eat the free food at the hotel.
Yeah.
Another thing, like the hotels, like we're getting so much money from our companies, they would just like always have buffets out. So I just like eat that, and then also like take it the next day for food if I didn't want to make a sandwich, just saving as much money as possible, trying to get out of there.
You didn't enjoy it?
No, like I'm like pretty against like the fossil fuels and all that. Like, I mean, I spent a lot of time burning fuel in a boat as a kid, but that's one of the reasons that I did switch to cable, because it's just more sustainable as well. But no, I really did it because I was just like, man, like our country has such a shitty health system. Like all these homies in Europe, they get fucked up, and like, yeah, they gotta sit on a list, but like they can get fixed. Like
they're not gonna be in mountains of debt.
Mountains of debt. As soon as they're healthy, they're gonna go wakeboard again. They're not gonna go like work their ass off or like, I don't know. Yeah, not have the opportunities that other people are gonna have, I guess. As far as like credit and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just like, well, if that's the way it's gonna be, then I'll just go do this thing that's pretty much fucking up the United States as well. Like, you guys want to fuck me up, I'm going to fuck you guys up.
And at a certain point, it's like, I got to look out for myself. At a certain point, like, I got to do this to make it happen.
I'm pretty sure Obamacare came out like the next year or something.
God damn it. I do want to talk about the GoFundMe, because I know you.
Yeah,
Did
this
you make
was
one,
sick.
or someone make one for you?
Quinn did this.
I was going to say.
I couldn't believe it. Like, I was like, came out of surgery, and like that's when I saw it, and there's like so much support. It was pretty insane.
Yeah, what's it kind of feel like to have the whole community kind of rally behind you? Like, were you expecting that, or like what's that emotion?
It just made me want to go wakeboard again. Like, I literally like wanted to go do that same spot again and get the trick.
Yeah.
Like, no one else wants to go with me and go do it, but I'd still go do it.
To this day?
Yeah. I think
as long as you don't say one more try, I feel like you'd be all right.
I know, right? I think the kicker might still be there. They left that kicker there.
Just decomposing now, rotten wood now.
Maybe someone like put a little tarp around it. It's a homeless guy's house now or something.
Could be. Just buy him a sandwich and move out of the way for a little bit.
But no, Quinn made that, and it was insane. Like, I actually still have all that money in an account.
You never used it for it?
Well, I don't have any teeth, so I always thought like maybe in the future when I'm done wakeboarding, maybe I'll buy some teeth with it. But the way the inflation's going now, like,
well, you just got to put it into like Bitcoin or something. Right? Well, if you would have back then, you'd have been good.
I tried to get my mom into Bitcoin, didn't believe me. Told this other homie about Bitcoin. He told his boss. His boss made like $15,000.
Like in the early days?
Yeah, I gave him $1,000 out of it.
Dang. You didn't spend any of that GoFundMe money though?
No.
It's still sitting there.
Was chilling in like a bank account getting like 0.05% interest or something.
Less than inflation, but that's all right. Why didn't you use any of it? I mean, did you already have it all paid off with that job you were working on the oil rig, or?
I don't know. I guess because I just didn't expect it, and I don't know. At first, whenever I got it, I kind of wanted to just give it all back. Like, I couldn't really figure out the logistics of it, just because, like, I don't know. I felt like it was the healthcare system's fault and not like our community's fault to take care of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I think it sucks that like everyone in America is like going to GoFundMe to like have their friends help them out or whatever, when really it should just be their tax money that's going to the system that's helping you out. I don't know. So I guess that's kind of why I had that thought, but I couldn't really figure out how to do it. So instead I just like located everyone that like had a name. I would go on Facebook, look for them, and then just message them like, hey, thank you for my donation. Like, I really appreciate the support. And I'm like, going to put all the money in the account and one day maybe buy some implants.
You should. Why not?
Because then you can just knock them right back out.
That's true.
And then
Once the wakeboarding career is done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
That makes sense. That's fair. It was a good chunk of money though from that GoFundMe that you got?
Yeah, I think I got like almost 10 grand.
Holy shit.
I think it's like, a little bit over 10 grand.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's sweet for sure. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I don't know. It definitely, like, I was really bummed and like not hyped then, but realistically, like it got me so stoked that I actually, on those weeks from the oil field, I would go winching with Quinn and the boys, and I just kept filming for my part even after that crash happened. Like, that wasn't the end of my part. I like came back and kept filming.
That's so sick.
And got more clips for the part.
Yeah. So
I guess like that kind of drove me. Like, I didn't really need the money, I guess, because I was already like going to do this thing that like I'd already like decided that I was gonna do.
Yeah.
But it was just like a really dope thing that I was like, okay, the wakeboard community is so rad. Like, I definitely still want to do this. Like, I don't know. I doubt the oil field's going to take me in, but I definitely got to revisit this sport. But as soon as I got to the oil field, I just missed all my wakeboarding homies, like in the van on the way out to the middle of nowhere to work the sites. I was just always watching wakeboard videos on my phone. So
I think that speaks volumes, just kind of like the guy you are, and like, you know, obviously not like a super famous, huge, like pro wakeboarder like Harley Clifford or anything crazy like that, but like the support you get from the community like shows how much they care about you and like the influence you've had over the past X amount of years. So like when I hear 10,000, it's like a lot of money, but also in the back of my mind, I'm like, that makes sense. Like, you know, you've had a huge influence and you've done so much for wakeboarding in the past years. It's like, makes sense to me, you know. Terry's the king.
Well, thanks for
Terry's
setting
the
that
king,
up,
dude.
Quinn. I really appreciate it. And I think
Quinn's the
for anyone that donated any money, thanks to Quint at Steve's for making these sick graphics, shirts, and Wes for making the graphic. He made these shirts to raise money as well, which was dope.
Yeah, the homies killed it. Winching is gnarly, but you know, what do you love about it so much? You know, what's so amazing about winching?
I'm like a 13-year-old kid street skateboarding again, like running from cops and meeting crackheads.
Yeah, you got any good stories about that? Meeting crackheads in the streets?
One time we met this guy at a spot, and he had a Coke or the Coke logo on one arm and the Diet Coke logo on the other arm, and 3 teeth.
What was this? Why Coke and Diet Coke? Did you ask him about it? Did he tell you about it?
I mean, we asked him about it, but like we couldn't. It was his favorite drink. And halfway through his life, he switched to Diet Coke.
So he tatted him up. Got to represent.
Guy just got both cans. I mean, I imagine like guy probably doesn't have money for laser removal, but I imagine he could get the other one taken off now that he's on the Diet Coke instead of the Coke.
That's true. Or he could have just put Diet above the Coke. I mean, that probably could have happened, right? Or was it an intricate logo where you couldn't change it?
Yeah, I think it was like the actual circle of the Coca-Cola.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then he got like the Diet Coke, like Diet above the Coke. No, but he kind of set it up, no background on the second one.
Gotcha.
Maybe can add something like lime up in
Or
the
vanilla,
left or
yeah,
some vanilla in the left maybe or something.
Yeah. We'll have to reconnect with him at some point, you know, get an update on that. All right. Well, let's talk prospect. How'd that relationship start?
He came to Valdosta. He had known Quinn before. I think he'd been trying to recruit Quinn for a while. And Quinn just was pretty much in the works for getting his board with Slingshot, and then just kind of like pushed him over to me. It was like, you know, we got this other good rider here and you should check him out. He can do good things for you. I had seen these prospect boards once before when Eric Nickstad and I saw Anna was on them, I think at Triple Crown at Cajun X Cable.
Yeah.
Which is actually for sale.
Yeah, I just saw that, dude. It seems cheap. It's for like, what, 800,000, 900,000 or something? Anyways, continue.
It's a shit cable.
Someone should buy it and make it a good cable.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Continue.
Someone should. I don't know.
Who from Prospect? You know, for the people who don't know, like who's the guy that
Neil
runs it?
Henderson is
Okay.
the guy. He kind of like hires some people to work for him every once in a while, but it's just like a one-man operation for sure.
Okay.
But my dream, since I was a little kid, was always to ride for a company that made snowboards and wakeboards. So that way, you know, maybe one day there's a wakeboard that you could ride on the snow as well. They're getting pretty close these days. It's kinda
We're
looking
getting
like.
real close.
But at least maybe I could have a pro model graphic that then they could press into my snowboard for the winter.
Yeah.
And then I could ride the wakeboard. It's been sick for Never Summer as well. Like I wish I would have pursued them instead of Prospect, actually. Maybe if they wouldn't have got Jimmy Little Rich, they could have actually done something, I feel like, in the industry. But instead, yeah, I don't know. Derek Cook killed their boards. He looked really good on them, but anyway, so that was always my dream. So I was pretty hyped about this snowboard, wakeboard. Hopefully, like I don't know, have this graphic that I keep all year on the snow and the water would be sick.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I first went out to Wisconsin to meet him and work at his shop, and we built some boards, and it was super sick. And then he moved to California and set up another shop. And he was just building snowboards in the winter, wakeboards in the summer, but really like limited batch, like mostly like you order it and then you get it in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But like even it's one-man operation, so that 3 weeks turns into 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Who knows? You can read all the reviews about Prospect Wake online. But anyway, essentially, I made 3 graphics with him. Shout out Todd Allen for riding one. I think it was like one of the first kids that I saw bought one, and I shared it. But I was kind of pushing it, but I was more into traveling to Europe every year and not really trying to stay in America and sell boards all summer.
Yeah. So did you ever sign a contract with them, or was it like
I signed some contracts, but they were just
nothing crazy?
all incentive based, like board sale stuff.
Okay. And did you make like a little bit of money from some board sales, or like okay? But
Yeah.
you said you were more focused on riding overseas than you were kind of pushing.
Yeah,
the
and he
sales here.
couldn't even ship overseas.
Yeah, so just mainland here, and then
Yeah. So it really wasn't the best fit for me, but I don't know, like I remember being in Germany when he called me. He's like, I think Johnny D is going to be on the team. Da 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 da. Just like, I don't know, man. Like, I think Johnny wants a lot more than I want. So
Johnny trying to get some money out here.
If I ain't so hyped, I doubt he hyped. So
That was probably when he was doing that sponsor me tape thing there.
yeah, I think so for sure.
I think we talked about that.
But essentially, yeah, I think for the third graphic, or I guess we made the third one, but then Corona hit, so we didn't really do anything. And then during Corona, he started making like the face shield stuff, I think. And then I had a meeting with him, and he was going to make me like a batch of boards. And I was going to put some of Valdosta, and then I was going to try and fly some to Europe and just try and sell some boards while I traveled Europe. And so he's just like, you know, I spent all this money, like getting all this face shield stuff going, and like right now I need to make some money with the face shield stuff before I put more money in the wakeboard stuff. So like, sick, dude. I've been working Snowboard Mountain all winter. Like, here's some cash. Let's make 10 boards. And then, I don't know, like a month or two later, I just get the Venmo of the cash that I sent him Venmo'd back. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just not going to have time to make these boards, and
Focus
really
on-
kind of over it. Like,
Yeah.
this face shield thing's taken off. Like, I understand, man. And like I said, I'm just
So no like
No
kind of
hard-
bad blood or
no
hard
bad
feelings
blood or
there,
anything. Just
kind of
like
fizzled out. And
just fizzled out, man. Like Cali's expensive, and producing wakeboards there and getting the same price for what people produce wakeboards in other countries for is
Yeah.
hard to do. That's why Slingshot's not made up in Oregon anymore.
yeah, sadly. I do want to talk about the Space Tapes video you made. So there was a lot of awards that were like quote unquote up for grabs, I guess, like, you know, best video, but there was a ton of them. And there was one that was the workhorse. And from my understanding, you kind of set out to film your video to be like, I'm going to get the workhorse award and I'm going to win that moto winch. Was that your mindset going into to filming?
Yeah, for sure. I was in Europe whenever I like found out about the contest, and I had already used the moto winch prototype with the boys, like winching for. I think we used it a little bit in the second movie, but we definitely had used it because we had started filming for the third movie, and so I was like, "Dang, I think they're going to be giving away the homies winch," even though like they ended up, or that winch that we have, the Space Mob one. Even though I think Wes ended up getting that one, and I ended up getting Jesse Jarrett's old winch, but that they filmed their film Feed the Dogs with.
Yeah,
bro, that edit's insane.
So good, dude.
But so anyway, yeah, I'm in Europe when I hear about this contest, and I'm like, all right, like the entry fee's like $250 for a team. Like I have that cash, so. Actually, I'm in Europe, and I'm getting unemployment from America.
Oh, from America.
No, from America. I snuck out of America, or I did my unemployment paperwork and then got on a plane the next day. And then every day I would just VPN to America and log on to the site and say that you look for jobs or whatever. And then, yeah, then they would deposit the account each week or whatever.
Yeah, because this was during COVID.
This was during COVID.
Times, yeah.
And yeah, it was like dope money, like crazy. So I would it would go straight into my bank account in America, and then I would just go to the ATM and pull it out in euros, and bought a van. My mom ships containers to Germany, so sorry. I'd bought a leader winch actually off Craigslist, which I couldn't believe. Just on Craigslist one day, just saw a leader winch, like pretty much brand new, $700.
And it wasn't from Mario? It's from
some random guy in North Georgia. Like, I guess he'd watched some Blake Bishop videos. I think he watched like Untamed.
Yep.
And bought a winch because like Blake made it look so cool. They used it like twice. Just sat in his garage the rest of the time. But anyway, I drove up there, bought that thing, put it in the container, shipped it to Germany, bought the van, went to Germany, got the winch. And then, yeah, we went to Holland for 2 weeks, and it was me and Yannick that drove the van up, and then Nico Gogol came over from Germany, and then Mitch and Maddie Muncie came over from England. They put Mitch's van. This is Mitch Wise.
Yeah.
Yep, the filmer. His filming stuff's pretty good. And, yep, they drove the little ferry over from Britain to Holland. And we started in Den Haag and winched all the way up to Amsterdam over the 2 weeks. And, yeah, essentially I paid the entry fee, and I pretty much messaged these guys. I was like, look, like, I'm going for this workhorse award. Like, all I want to do is hit as many spots as possible. We're going to try and hit 3 spots a day for 14 days. Shit. And I mean, of course, like we had one rest day, and then most of the days we'd only hit 2 spots, but there were a couple of days where we got 3 spots. It's nuts. But even if we're just doing carves or whatever, we just want to get as many spots as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they were all down, and I was like, look, I'm going to pay for the entry fee. Like, there's no, like, you guys don't need to pay anything. And like, if we get a payout of the money, like, or win a prize, then we'll split it equally. You guys don't have to put anything in. But if we win the winch, like, I'm going to kind of own
She's
the winch.
mine.
Yeah. And everyone was down, and, like, we just really wanted to get clips and just exposure for everyone. Mitch had never really winched before. So, yeah, we just winched for 2 weeks and got some decent clips. I split my elbow open.
What's it like winching in Europe versus winching in the States?
It's amazing because no one sues each other in Europe because all the medical bills are paid for by the government.
And there's a lot of fucking spots over there.
Well, yeah, they've been, people have been building structures there a lot longer.
Yeah.
Like 1,500 years longer.
Yeah.
So I rode one canal that said like 1545 or something on it.
Oh, like
the
Daily
year
building, yeah.
year they created the canal.
It's a long time ago. It's an old 50-50, if you were 50-50 in that thing.
We weren't even 50-50 in it.
carbon.
We were literally, it was a canal we decided because when I guess when new people get there, like, I don't want to go to dope spots while they get used to the winch, because then we could get kicked out while they're getting used to the winch.
A bunch of waste of time.
So we were just going to these shitty spots we never not going to get kicked out of, so they can just get used to ollieing on the winch and like what speed they like.
What winch were you using?
The leader winch, not even the pro.
That one from Craigslist?
Yeah.
Okay. That you shipped over in the container with your mom or whatever.
Yeah.
Save a lot of money there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Very expensive to ship a winch.
That's how I got my electric winch over there as well.
Really? Okay.
Month late this year, but still.
Hey, better late than never.
No import taxes.
There you go. So you do spend a lot of time in Europe, or you have, I guess, over the years. What is like so intriguing about, riding in Europe and spending time in Europe, and what kind of keeps drawing you back there?
Yeah, it's like wakeboarding was here in the 90s. Like, everyone's hyped on it. Like, you go to a cable in Europe and the dock's like filled with red jackets. Just so many beginners, so many people learning. Like, so many people are hyped on it and want to try it. Where I feel like here in America now, like these days, they're just like, oh, I'd kill myself. Oh, that's just
Like,
so
it's too
dangerous. Yeah, for sure. And also, like, I feel also in Europe, people are just more fit. Like, everyone's just like, when they get off work, they're trying to like go out and do something, do some activity instead of just go sit on the couch and absorb.
Consume.
Yeah.
Let's I think we kind of did a good run through on the history there, but you mentioned you want to talk about kind of the future. What do you mean, the future of wakeboarding or the future of Terry Bailey?
Both,
All right.
actually.
Let's do it. Which one are you going to start with?
I mean, maybe we start with like the name of this podcast, actually.
All right. Hit me with it. You got questions? What's up?
I mean, I kind of get the name, like, grabs matter.
They
like,
do.
The names, how you do it, like, I'm fully on board.
You know my vibe. You know
For
what's
sure.
going on. Yeah.
I love messaging you like photos to see if you think they're the legit grabs before I actually post them. I think that's like, I don't know, like every science and like doctors, they all have like peer review stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why does our sport not have peer review? Like, why don't we do more peer review?
I'm here. I'll always do it.
Hell
Anyone
yeah.
can send me
hype,
anything
bro.
ever. I'll do it. I'll do a peer review. And I'll be
Perfect.
honest, because I always am. But
And I don't know, like, I guess whenever I was a kid, like, I was a kooky kid. Like, whenever I started skateboarding, like, I was a pretty kooky skateboarder kid. Luckily, like, when I got into snowboarding, I'd kind of already figured it out through skateboarding a little bit. And then whenever I got into wakeboarding, I'd really figured it out from snowboarding. But just, like, I don't know, like, you know who the kooks are in the park. Like, you know who's just, like, being sloppy with their stuff. And it's like, yeah, you can say, like, oh, let's just have fun. They're just having fun. That's fine. But, like, then they're never going to, like, I don't know, I guess that's not a style as just having fun. Like, you can have, like, Poindexter style. You can have, like, super pokey style. Like, you can have, like, super smooth style. But, like, no one's like, yo, mine's a fun style. Like, fun just means that, like, I don't know, like, you're just going through the motions. Like, I don't know, I feel like you're not putting any thought into it.
yeah, I've had I don't know if I've shared this thought publicly, but I'm going to. In like sports, you have fouls and penalties. And I think in board sports, that doesn't exist really, but it like kind of should. And like incorrect grabs and like incorrect board slides and all that stuff are basically, in my mind, like fouls or penalties. Like 10-yard penalty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so kind of to your point there.
I would agree. It's like butt checking. Like,
yeah, it's a penalty.
putting a hand down.
Yeah, it's a penalty.
For sure, penalty.
Yeah. So I don't know what the penalty should be, but there should be one.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, I don't know, I also feel like it shouldn't be like, oh, it's just Instagram. Like, I can post whatever as well. Like, Instagram's too big of an outlet now for you just to be like, oh, I'm just having fun. Me just eating my face off on Instagram.
Yeah, I agree. There's
It's like,
definitely no
all
need
right,
for
well,
that.
that's how you get sponsors now, so.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
Nobody's clicking your
We're-
video
we're-
part anymore.
Yeah, it sucks that that's
Should, though.
actually the big game, Instagram. So
It is right now. Yeah.
It's really unfortunate. I really got to like watch Instagram and the internet like come to be with the sport. That's for sure.
Yeah, I do want to hear your thoughts on like comparing wakeboarding now when it comes to like sharing your riding compared to like 2008.
Yeah,
Or,
I think
then.
JB went over this like pretty well on how it was just like used to be like mag incentive, like work with a photographer, like normally he would even get paid from the magazine. You wouldn't get paid from the magazine, but then you could take that to your sponsor or some sort of incentive that way. But then also contests just used to be like pay way higher.
Yeah.
But
so like I guess in terms of like back then when you were consuming wakeboarding in what 2008 or like pre-Instagram.
Okay, so I guess like also I can go back into sorry I got lost.
No, you're
there.
good. We're jumping around
Too
right now,
easy.
so that's good.
But yeah, I don't know. When I was a kid, I just had every magazine, like be so hyped when the magazine comes in the month. Like I still have a stack of magazines like as high as this couch at my parents' house.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I just used to sit on the toilet all the time with my magazine. Now I sit on the toilet with my phone, you know?
So do you get as stoked going on Instagram as you did back in the day, watching like longer videos on the internet and looking through magazines? Like, are you as stoked on wakeboarding, how it's shared nowadays versus how it was shared back then?
I feel like it's just more memorable back then. Like, I don't know if I enjoy it anymore.
Yeah.
But I could remember stuff easier. Like, as I go through Instagram, it's hard to really remember all that you see. And I've really been, like, trying to, like, scale down all the people I follow just because it's getting to the point where just, like,
it all blends
I'm like,
together.
yo, talking about this clip that I seen, and I'm like, go to find it. And I'm just like, I can't find anything on this app. It's just too much.
Lost in the ether, dude. It's gone.
I mean, it's got to be there. Like, they didn't unpost this, but why can't I find it for sure?
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, with the magazines, like, I mean, I don't know. You stare at that one photo, like, sometimes the whole performance you're in there, you know? Sometimes you flip pages, but maybe you just go back to that one photo. Maybe you rip that photo out, hang it up on your wall, you know? I had tons of wakeboarding stuff, like snowboarding magazine cutouts as well, but because I always didn't just get this wakeboarding mags, I always got snowboarding mags as well.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you see kind of the future of wakeboarding going? It's a broad question, but I can kind of narrow down on some points if you want, but it sounds like you kind of wanted to elaborate on the future of the sport in general.
Yeah, I don't know where the future of the sport's going, but I know what I want to do in the future.
Okay.
I'm really just like focused on like being in the streets and doing the winching because I just feel like that's what's going to legitify it to everyday people. Like we can go out to anybody in the street and be like skateboarding, like Tony Hawk, of course, we know. Snowboarding, Sean White, we know for sure. They're like wakeboarding, like what? What's a wakeboard? But like I feel like if they start seeing people wakeboarding in the street, they like look out their apartment window and someone's doing it in the water. Now it's so easy to like look up wakeboarding. Like the more people that know about it, I think that's the more people like will legitify it. And then like big networks will actually want to put it on the air once like the general public can actually like recognize it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm really just trying to, one thing I love, like super cheap to go winching, especially the electric winches, you know, especially with van life, you know. So that's pretty nice as well. It's like don't have to work as much to like go ride, I guess. I mean, you have to work a lot to go ride, but not to
get to that point.
Get
you
it,
do,
yeah.
yes. But once you get to that point,
for sure,
yeah.
And like I've been really spending the last 3 or 4 years setting up my winch mobile or like my winch kit in Europe. So now it's like pretty cheap for me to go over there. Like I don't even need clothes anymore. I got tons of clothes there.
It's all stacked ready to
Tons
go.
of tools, paddleboard, which is the most clutch thing in a winch kit.
The
inflatable paddleboard
unsung
is
hero
amazing
of the winch kit.
VIP.
Yeah, definitely. So you keep your van in Europe then? Where do you have it parked at?
I have it parked at El Rancho, but the guys at
Wake
Lunar Cable Park let me leave it there last year.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was was sick.
Awesome. How's that place?
Place is super tight.
Yeah, looks awesome.
It's an awesome
Is
place.
it warm or cold there? Because I can't tell.
It's warm. Windy and warm.
Windy and warm. Okay. What's the thing in the back?
It's a massive dam.
Okay.
Yeah. And this channel that it's actually on is the practice channel for when Spain held the Olympics. And then if you go to the channel where they actually held the Olympics for the rowing and everything, that's where OCP is, up in Barcelona.
Really?
But if you go 6 hours to the south to the practice one, then that's where Lunar is in that one.
Sweet. Yeah, I've always wanted to go there. It looks like a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. It's also like 15 minutes from the beach, so
Really?
you just take a shred in the morning or whatever. It gets windy, you go chill on the beach for a bit, come back, take an afternoon shred. When
Is there good surfing there, or just like beach to hang out?
In the winter, there's good surfing,
Okay.
but we only got to surf once this summer. There was a little storm swell.
Nice. Okay. Who's like your crew out there, for the most part when you go and
My
generally
best
down?
homie is like Yannick Patone. He rides for Double Up, and I actually met him in 2016 when I was going to this contest in Russia. We just like both got on this 13-hour ferry to St. Petersburg together. Just like walked over I was sitting at a table. He just kind of walked in. I was just like, this guy's a wakeboarder. Like, he's got a Liquid Force hat on. Like, he's got to be a wakeboarder. And like, I kind of like waved him over. I was like, yo, are you going to this contest in Russia? He's like, yeah, da-da-da. We just hung out then. He like really didn't speak much English. He's like 17 or something. Went to this Russian contest. And yeah, I think it was quite a few Europeans, but me and him were like, I guess, the only guys that were really hadn't been there before, I guess. Like the first time going to this park. I guess the other guys were like from Latvia and some other like Baltic states, from Finland and stuff, and they had been at the park. I don't know if there's any Estonian riders.
Simon didn't go?
No, we got them to come the next year.
Okay.
The next year, Dan came, and then Simon and Kenny and all the boys. Like, we kind of made it a big thing. Like, even Tanner and stuff, like, went out there.
Really?
Eventually, yeah.
Dang.
But, like, when me and Yannick first went, like, it was there. We were the only people that had never been there before.
Yeah.
But it was sick. I met him there, and then met him up in Thailand. We hung out, and then, like I said, been going back to where he lives in Spain for the past couple of years. And
So he's your homie when you go over there.
Yeah,
That's the guy. Run me through Thailand. So how many times have you been to Thailand?
2 years or 2 times.
2 times.
A month the first time and 2 months the second time.
Okay. Why'd you decide to go?
The first time was to kick it with Yannick. We just got like a apartment together.
Okay.
Hung out with Daniel. Rode Thai Wake Park. Super sick. Actually, Kyle McClutchin and me went to the Thai Islands. He was actually just randomly motorcycling through Vietnam and then was coming to Thailand, and just met him at the airport. We went to the Thai Islands, partied for like 2 weeks.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
It was super fun. But then the next time I went back, I actually stayed at Dan's house with him, and I went back to do some winching, but we ended up just, it was after they tore down the 2.0 pool gap, and we ended up just building some homemade features over the land gap that's left there.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Thai Wake Park looks like a lot of fun. When did you meet Daniel? I mean, obviously when he was really young, you kind of had some relationships. But when did that, relationship kind of become a little bit more? And you guys started hanging out a little bit.
Yeah, probably like around that same time that I started to go into Europe and going to Thailand, like 2016, 2017.
Okay. Love it.
Like, yeah, I'd known him from all the American contests, and I remember hitting him up, and I think Yannick flew in a day before me or something. And I was like, yo, you mind picking me up from the airport, or should I get a taxi or whatever? He's like, can't believe you're coming to Thailand. I never thought you'd ever see Terry in Thailand. Of course I'm going to pick you up. So him and Yannick came pick me up from the airport, and it was super dope. So super hyped on that. And then me and Dan share a similar taste in loud, hard music.
I was going to say similar taste in music.
And some bass music with quite a few kicks. So we started going to quite a few hardcore shows, and I don't know, he's DJing some different like contests and stuff himself, and Yeah, it's been pretty sick. I think we just had our 5th year at DEF CON together with all the boys.
What's DEF CON?
DEF CON is a hardcore music festival. Well, it's not really just hardcore music. It's hard dance. Hardcore has its own stage there. But
run me through a day at DEF CON.
Oof.
A good day. A good day at DEF CON. What's that looking like?
I'll run you through the last Friday that we had because
Okay.
it was our most successful day that we've ever had at DEF CON.
What makes a successful day at DEF CON?
Well, you don't want anyone to pass out.
Okay.
You don't want anyone to throw up. And you want to sweat so much your clothes look like you just jumped in a pool.
Interesting. So run me through that Friday. What made it so successful? And obviously did all those
Everyone
things.
got out of bed in the morning. It was super nice. We were actually at the gate whenever it opened, which never normally happens. There's a bit of a small crew this year as well. But, yeah, pretty much go to the first set, dance for an hour straight. Depends on if there's another set that we really enjoy or not. Normally there is, but we'll normally only get about 15 minutes of that, and then come back to the campsite, get some food. Then we'll normally go back in, catch 2 to 3 sets, another 2 or 3 hours. Then it's like lunchtime. Luckily, we used to take like 30, 40 minutes to go to our camp, but now we get like the pre-set up camp. It's like a nice 10-minute walk from the stages. So that way we can go back a lot more. You're not stuck there. Anyway, then we went back to the camp, had a little lunch, and then we went back for like another 5 hours. So I think we did like a little bit over 9 hours of dancing that day.
That's a lot of dancing.
It was I was dead, completely dead.
Burn a lot of calories at least.
Yeah, Daniel's step counter is pretty insane.
What's the max count? You remember any?
I don't remember,
high
but I'm
counts?
sure he's so proud of it.
I've got to ask him. It's got to be
Yeah.
super high.
It's insane, his step counter during DEF CON.
Oh my gosh. All right. What's the future hold for Terry Bailey?
So while we're speaking about these hardcore music festivals,
Yeah.
there's this hardcore music festival called Dominator. And
Sounds hardcore.
It is. And it used to be a 1-day festival, but now it's a 2-day festival. And
It's even more hardcore.
Exactly. Now there's camping involved. But while they have the stages, they also have like dirt bikes and ATVs like running jumps around the stages. There's one stage that's like in the water, so you're like dancing in like knee-high water essentially because the stage is like faced out on this lake. And this lake like had the flyboarder this year, I guess, like the jet ski thing.
Did you
that
jump
hooks
on
up
that?
to the board. I didn't go this year.
Oh, you didn't go. Okay.
There's like this is me and Yannick's plan or our pitch or whatever we're trying to get done. But like if you got this guy doing your flyboard, like you got to have some wakeboarding going on.
Yeah.
You got motocross, ATVs, like I don't know. I feel like that just it would just work so well. I mean, you got the dirt and the water. It'd be different if you had to build a skate park or something. But the water's already
You got
there.
already there. You're
Like,
good.
post something in so easy. So yeah, hopefully just pitch to them because I think it'd be sick to have wakeboarding and part of a music festival. They used to have Wake Stock back in Britain. That was part of a music festival, and I've just heard how legendary it was. Like, so bummed that once I started going to Europe, that contest was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my plan. Hopefully they want to have us wakeboard there. Take the winch, take this crew, set up a little thing for 1 day, both days. And yeah, just expose it to more people.
Yeah.
So wakeboarding becomes more of a household name, something that people don't scrunch their eyebrows when you say.
Got a little bit of a ways to go, but yeah, I think that'll be sweet. I think wakeboarding at events like that is definitely a nice step back into what maybe wakeboarding used to be, you know, in the 90s and the early 2000s for sure.
For sure. And we used to have alcohol sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Huge.
Budweiser, I mean, come on, that would be sick.
Bro, Scott Byerly doing like that first like back moving contest with just a big Bud jersey on.
So sick.
Payday.
Heyday?
Payday.
Payday. Big payday.
Big payday.
Man, all right. I mean, anything else you want to chop it up about? Anything on your mind you want to talk about?
No more questions over there?
I kind of ran through it, man. I don't have any more.
All No, just I don't know, man. Keep trying to keep wakeboarding legit. I don't know. I feel like that I'm a person that enjoys criticism, and I just feel like that more people need to incorporate criticism into their review, or I guess not criticism, but peer review, you know? Like, I guess, yeah, all the guys at your cable park think it's cool and all that, but I just think that really you got to travel around to see how your style progresses with using other people's style. But also I feel like it's important to know what you're doing with your style and be able to see what someone else is doing and be able to properly name what someone else is doing, not just, I don't know, try and copy what you see. Kind of like, I guess it's kind of like playing guitar by just like listening to the music versus actually like writing the music down and reading the music and playing the guitar is what I'm trying to get at as far as like grabbing legit, like really trying to land over your note, like over your front or back binding, keeping her teed up. Just, I don't know, man. These Oh Come On Man videos when they came out were just so good with the football commentary.
That guy was good, man.
And just getting them, man, left and right, bro. I even offered this guy $500 for that Instagram at some point. I wanted to be that guy.
That was a big offer, man. I can't believe he didn't take it. It's a lot of money.
I can't believe he didn't take it either. He said he would take it, but he also needed a lifetime pass to BWC with the $500. And I tried to swing it, but it just wasn't in my power. I just don't have that much swing to get anyone a lifetime pass.
That's a good rebuttal,
BWC.
though. Imagine that. Imagine having that. That would be sick.
If I had the power, he would have got it, and I would be on the other end of these DMs.
Oh, man.
But it just wasn't happening.
Love it. Dang, yeah. I mean, anything else you want to chop it up about? But it sounds like you kind of covered it, dude. We ran through it. I like it.
Yeah, for sure. I guess I could thank some people.
I definitely, yeah. Thank some people. Throw some names out there.
Just in no particular order, just as they're coming to my head. Thank you, Adam Sinclair, for keeping a board under my feet. Thank you, Quinn, for really helping my riding by letting me help you build your dream park. And thanks for the whole Space Mob crew. Wes, your art's amazing, and the way that you share everyone's stuff and bring the hype to our sport is amazing, or it's unreal, really, not even amazing. And yeah, Wes, I don't know Wes and Cross, like all the Gravity people, like I started out there. All the homies in Tennessee on that lake that ever gave me a pull. And yeah, all the surgeons out there that have cut me open, that's for sure.
They did a good job, that's for sure.
Yep. This Detroit guy does good jobs on my shoulders as well. Haven't had to see him in almost 10 years now, I think.
Good. You don't want to have to see him.
No.
He's in Detroit, though?
Dr. Detroit is his name.
Oh, Detroit.
No, he's in Tennessee as well.
Gotcha.
One of my homies that I grew up with in school is actually now his surgeon assistant.
Wow.
I actually had my first surgery with him. I was like when I was still in high school. And then, yeah, like I said, this kid's like my same age. And like now he works for him, like with him every day.
Dang.
But he's a pretty dope surgeon for back in our area. And yeah,
must have done a real good job. Your shoulders still good.
Hey, yeah, man. But it's all about hugging yourself, bro. Like you do not want to fall like a bird. You want to bring those wings in.
Keep those in.
Yeah. It's wise words to anybody for sure.
Take notes.
But yeah, thanks to you, man, for bringing these podcasts and keep growing our sport. And I don't know, it's sick to. I don't know, the way that you keep people talking, super sick and super unique. So I enjoy listening, that's for sure. Been great on my long car rides through Europe.
Yeah, you're a big travel guy, so yeah.
Listen to one on the plane home.
Glad to help out.
Bro, passes time so quick, for sure.
Love it. Well, thank you for coming on, and definitely thank you for all you've done for wakeboarding. I think a lot of people, like, if you know Terry, but like there's a lot of people who don't know because you're kind of a head down, humble, hard worker kind of guy, and I think you deserve a lot more recognition you've gotten in the recent years. But yeah, definitely thank you for everything you've done and all the hard work you put into specifically definitely Valdosta, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that I've just like pursued a lot less riding in the past couple of years and more like construction. I've been to Mexico and done features, built features in Russia, like to help out parks anywhere I go in Europe. And I don't know, I've just been really working on building features, been working park crew now out west. I did finish college eventually.
Well, you did.
I did.
I didn't know
After this 1 year, after the one semester in the online, and then the community college, I did another semester online, and then I went back to Wiregrass Community College here in Valdosta, and I got my stick welding degree, or my stick welding associate's certificate.
There you go.
So I've been doing some welding and just working on features. I really like to build what I ride and make sure that angles are proper and links are proper. Yeah. And I'm really a fan of homemade features, and I don't really hate when all parks look the same and you're like, oh, which park is that? You just have to look in the background trying to figure out which park it is. Like, that shouldn't happen.
A lot of white plastic.
You should be able to figure it out by what rails they have, not by what scenery in the background they have.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I really think that whenever I go different places as well, I don't like to just, like, do the work. I like to teach everyone, because I love to, like, come back, like, 2 or 3 years later, and then they've built a feature themselves, and it's just, like, so sick. I was like, oh, this worked, but this didn't work. It's like, oh, you'll get on the next one or whatever, for sure. You learn so much. And then other people, once they learn to build as well, then they realize how ridiculous these pre-manufactured features really are in cost.
Very expensive.
Yeah, for sure. But, I mean, I guess anything that floats is expensive. Look at boats.
It's true. Boats are expensive.
Boats are expensive. Docks are expensive.
Docks are expensive.
All floating stuff.
Buoys are cheap, but they don't do much.
This is true.
Oh, man.
I love a buoy on the end of my winch rope, though. That's like something I have to have.
What do you mean?
Like
in front of the handle?
Yeah.
Like a normal cable would have.
Exactly.
I've never done that.
Just because, like, it helps finding the rope and all that, but also, like, when you're going down flowing water or whatever, like, sometimes, like, the handle's, like, kind of floaty, but the water will push it down and it'll get stuck in rocks a lot. But if you have the buoy, like, the buoy for some reason just kills it through, like, the rapids and stuff. Huh. And also, whenever it slams into the pulley, it gives it a little bit of cushion before the
got some bounce
rope
to
goes
it,
in there as well, for sure.
Crucial for having especially having a new driver on there. Or a tight spot.
Tight spot normally is what happens for sure.
Dang. All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on, Terry. This was a good one. I definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your night here now. We're cruising to 2 a.m., but definitely got a long day tomorrow, but appreciate you coming on, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming to Yard Sale, man. I hope you're enjoying it.
I'm loving it.
Perfect.
So fun, dude. Thanks, everyone, for listening, watching. Obviously, like, comment, subscribe, all that shit, So, see you guys next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.